album should answer three questions. Where do you come from? Where are you now? And where are you going? And for me, the where do I come from is all of my great grandparents moved west, like old school horse and buggy or train or whatever, from the coal mines of West Virginia or the hollers of Kentucky. They looked at each other and said, there has to be a better way to live life. And so they did. They chased their dream with no plan B, and they took a huge risk, and they moved west. Now, ironically, for me, I moved east to chase my dream. But that Western culture runs so deeply in my family. Western music. My great grandfather played Western music in a band for 40 years in Colorado Springs. My uncle's a cowboy pastor who sings bluegrass music every single Sunday. And where I am now is I am chasing that dream. And I think the metaphor of all of those things in Westerns, of the health and unhealth, the struggle and the beautiful sunrise success moments, I loved all of that. And I feel like that's where I am in my life. Literally and metaphorically, it just kind of was like a perfect way to title this. And obviously with the chapters being so specific about what life and chasing a dream looks like in health and unhealth, I wanted those totems to have vitriol, like this like emotional response that when I said scorpion, people go like, whoa, what is that about? Or like, like gold, like, oh, it must be shiny, it must be beautiful, it must be something worth fighting for. And all of those things are on the Western journey. So for me, it just made so much sense. And I've always said, in country and Western, I've always been the end Western. I'm from Colorado. I'm not from the South. I'm not from whatever. So I have this kind of different way of looking at the whole genre. Yeah, I mean, they're covers of like two of my favorite songs. And I think they serve multiple purposes. One, when my manager and I are looking at this album, we're like, why should this song be here or whatever? And we're going, I wish we had a song like You're Still the One. Eventually, I'm like, dude, why don't we just do a really cool version of it? And it's a great way to bring people who have no idea who I am. It gives them familiarity and kind of like a lifeline to come into the album and find themselves, listening through Western, even though they just found a cover online. Like when I posted You're Still the One, it had 5 million views in 24 hours because it's just a hit song that people love. Well, that had people following me on Spotify and following me on TikTok. And now I've had so many messages going, I don't like country music. And I wasn't supposed to, find you, but I did. And now I'm listening to this whole album. And that was kind of a huge goal. And then we obviously play them live as well. So it's great to have the recorded version with the stems and everything ready to rock. So it was way harder than I thought. I thought this was going to be just like writing normally. And instead, with a concept album like this, you really have to dive into like these concepts, and you can't just like write any song. So I'm going into a write going, I know this sounds weird, but I need a song that sounds and feels like bravery and courage. And people are like, okay, like they have 100 ideas just like up tempo about a girl. And I'm like, I need a song that sounds like if a Mustang is running in the closing scenes of a movie about chasing your dreams. Like, how do we do that and not make it cheesy, not make it just feel like a Disney or like too poppy, where it's just, there's no story involved, there's no country elements, because you can do all those themes in pop very simply, but in country it becomes a lot harder. So we leaned into the stories. And I think although we fumbled a lot along the way, it was those fumbles that kept pointing me and just kind of guiding me to go, okay, that was close, but keep going. That was close, but keep going. And every single song in this project, for the first time, I have no edits. I have no edits on the writing. I have no, I look back and I'm like, you know what? I'm genuinely so proud because I sat and I edited and revised every single song to the point where they sounded like pudding in my head. So eventually I was like, no, this is exactly what it needs to be. And I feel like it's taught me so much, which is the best. There's like a multiple facets of an album. It should be something that you love, and it should actually be this like journey that you go on to make the album. And I think I learned so much on that journey. These songs have to be able to be played in a football stadium. Like, they have to feel so big that people should leave my show at these venues going, that venue wasn't even big enough. It couldn't hold the energy in like a cool way. And I think, Girls Like You is a great example right off the bat of, we posted it, it went viral a bunch of times, and the numbers are telling us people are loving it. And then, you just never quite know. So you show up and we're like, okay, what are the songs people are going to sing? Girls Like You feels like it's been a number one at radio for 10 weeks, the way that people sing it back to us. So that's been so fun to see. I mean, I don't know how it is for other people, but I would say for me, it's transformative, kind of like a caterpillar going into a cocoon. When I made this, I think I was one version of Spencer, and now I've come out the other side, a more, multifaceted, and like, I think I know myself so much better, which is such a sneaky tool in life, is to have self-awareness and to be able to look yourself in the mirror and truly understand where you fall short, where you succeed, the traps that you ensnare for yourself over and over again. And I think the process of writing this album is what the album's all about. It's about going on the hero's journey. It's about doing things even though there's high risk, because that's where the high reward is. And so I found that in making the album. I would say the cool part is I'm watching the same response online, and I haven't always felt that. I felt, you put out songs, people are like, we like them, we're jamming, and that's always a cool response. But to get paragraph long stories of like, I struggle with addiction and I'm a guy and I've never felt like guys were supposed to talk about that, or hey, me and my partner, we were going to split up. People have made tattoos instead of wedding rings because that song means so much to them. So this whole album feels like it's really taking my relationship with my fans to another level, and that in itself is transformative. You're listening to